All right, this is part 2 of systems, processes, and procedures in week 17. So we're going to talk about choosing and managing your systems. First and foremost, before you even start thinking about getting a new piece of technology, you need to know what your processes are. So if you haven't documented your processes yet, go back and do that first before you even think about buying new technology. You can't really pick technology until you know what it is that you do and what this technology is going to replace within your processes. So documenting your processes builds requirements for your systems. Then that's one of the best things when it comes to processes and systems is that they go hand in hand. Is that by documenting your processes, you know what you need in terms of requirements, and that's an easy handoff when it comes to talking to vendors or IT people or whoever it is. Like, here's what I do. Create something that does that automatically for me. When you get into choosing systems, you want to clearly define the problem that you're solving for and the desired solution. So don't just say, I need to make my business better, or I want to make the sales cycle faster. You need to determine exactly what it is that you're solving for and that desired solution. So the problem is my sales cycle is too slow. The desired solution is I want to cut it in half. And now we need to find some technology that's going to help fill that gap there. But as you're going through the processes and defining what your problems are and then solutions, you need to determine whether or not technology is actually necessary, because a lot of times people like to upgrade to, their tech just to upgrade, buy stuff just to buy stuff. Make that determination ahead of time and really understand your processes. And then you also need to know whether or not the entire process is being replaced by the technology or if it's just a part of it. And if it's just a part of it, where are the handoffs, from a human, whether it's internally or externally, whether it's a customer handing off information to a piece of technology, which then hands it off to a human or whatever. You need to figure out that entire process start to finish. When you are talking to vendors, be clear in what you've already researched and what you're looking for, et cetera. You don't want to act like you know their technology or know technology if you don't, but you do know your business. So just be clear about what your business is, and again, the solution that you're looking for. A lot of vendors are going to just try to sell you just to sell, because salespeople, that's what they do. They try to sell, and not everybody's as honest as you want them to be in terms of, is this something that I really need? One thing you can do is ask for references throughout, like in your industry. So if you're talking to a vendor who's trying to sell you, a new CRM or whatever, ask them for references of other businesses within your industry to see, to just interview them on whether or not it's actually as helpful as you are hoping it to be. You can also ask for free or reduced trials for software solutions. You can ask for light versions. If they're not willing to let you test it out before buying, then I'm going to guess that you probably don't want to do business with them, unless it's something like super complicated and, they have to do a lot of work to implement, et cetera, et cetera. But they should be able to give you at least a demo to see what it looks like. And then ask for as many training materials ahead of time and training courses. Have them throw all of that in for free. If they're selling you a significantly priced piece of equipment or technology, they should be also training you on it and doing that for free on their dime. Systems, again, are a part of your processes, and systems can eliminate certain things within your business. They can speed them up or change what you do. Include any kind of systems that you have when you're documenting your future state. If you're going to make any changes, make sure you know what your systems are. We're going to have like a worksheet for you to go through all of your systems and determine what they are, what they do, what they cost, et cetera, et cetera. And then make clear expectations for those who are going to be affected by any kind of changes when you implement a system. So they may no longer be performing part of that process, but now they're monitoring it. For example, you want to get your employees to the value add side of things, and not just doing the day-to-day monkey work that a computer can replace. one of the fun stories that we've had from one of our podcasts became the testimonials, customer testimonials. The owner of Foothills Roofing in Denver, Colorado, was having an issue with his sales team. They were not finishing the sale, quote unquote, finishing the sale, because the last thing they were supposed to do is get a testimonial from their clients. And they were just too busy selling. They'd move on to the next client and they weren't going back to get that testimonial. So what Armando did, the owner, he just automated it. And, that's something that it was the salesperson should be selling, and getting that testimonial is important, but that's something that they were able to automate. And so, those are the things that you kind of want to look for. What type of systems and technology that should you have? My recommendation is keep it as simple as possible. It really depends upon your business and your budget, and a lot of other factors. But again, a lot of people like to just buy things because, they see the shiny new whatever. Look for the simple solutions first. So if you're looking to create a dashboard for your sales or whatever it is, like, you could spend a lot of money and get it all put together in a nice shiny report that's online and you can access anywhere, or you can just create a Google sheet and track it manually. Again, it depends on your preference, your budget, your skill set. You want to consider the cost of maintaining. That's a big part of technology that a lot of people don't really consider. So they have the upfront cost, maybe the monthly subscription fee or whatever, but you're going to have to occasionally pay somebody to come in and maintain the system, possibly. So just think about that. And if not, hold times with tech support, whatever it is, like, time costs you money. So think about that. And then you want to consider any kind of sunk costs that are going to come along with it. So downtime, for instance, if you're going to implement a new piece of technology over the weekend, maybe you're not open on the weekends and that's a great time to do it. But maybe you are, and you're now going to have 48 hours where you're not going to be able to sell. In theory, they should be able to just kind of flip a switch and go from one to the other, and it should be seamless for the customer. But there's always the chance that you're going to have some sort of downtime. There's going to be lost time. Like, your team's going to lose time because they're going to be training instead of selling. They're going to be doing other things with the system, learning how to do it. There's going to be that learning curve, which is going to slow down everything in the beginning, so you're going to slow down to speed up. But eventually you'll speed up, in theory. And then the last two things, you want to beware of scope creep. So scope creep is where you just kind of start adding things and adding things and adding things. And it's, incremental, it's little things here and there. And all of a sudden you just got this giant monster. So for us, we've got a handful of tools that we use all the time. And then we are guilty of the same thing, where we've got one little problem that we need to fix. So we bought a solution, and then we bought another solution, and then we needed those solutions to talk to each other. So then we had to buy the middleman in order for those things to talk to. And by the end of this, this first year, we were kind of looking at our technology map. It's like, why do we have all of these things? We don't use half of what we have. And, and if the stuff that we do use, we're using very small parts of it. So we're guilty of it as well. It's easy to do, especially when you're talking about like, oh, it's only $9.99 a month, no big deal, but those things add up. And then lastly, not all automations are good things. Some people like to automate just to automate, but you lose that human element. You lose a bit of control and oversight. So just think about that when you are thinking about implementing new systems for your processes.